Hello everybody, welcome back to more Chaos Head Noah. Yes, we are continuing on with what I assume is the final chapter, or close to it. I'm sorry for cutting off when I did, at the end of the last chapter. I genuinely had to go and stream something, so I was like, okay, this is as good a spot as any. But we are continuing to get answers. And again, some of the things we suspected are turning out to be as we thought they were. As it turns out, the gaze actually was Takumi, like base Takumi Prime, who apparently seems to be able to see other people, and then for the other people to notice when they're being looked at. I wonder how that works as far as a timeline goes, because apparently we wrote that Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes essay years and years and years ago. Which would be a weird thing for us to do if we are the eyes, right? And we know that thing was written because Shogun acknowledged the IR2 formula being written on the back of our essay. So, I don't know, maybe there's some other weird timeline going on here. As it turns out, yes, the Takumi we've been playing as is the delusion of Takumi Prime, which we also suspected. There's still some things that still need to be connected, like, why does Shogun need us to send messages to ourselves in the past? How do we send those messages to the past? We have literally sleepwalked? We have literally sleepwalked as Shogun and posted on @channel with that username. So there's that too. Things still haven't been completely cleared up, but we are finally getting some answers. We have found Nanami, and boy, she's in a bad way, but we haven't quite rescued her yet, and she does seem to be our 7th Black Knight, so unless there's another one, which Suwa might be, judging by what he said, and maybe some others. I mean, the base amount doesn't have to be at 7. I'm sure there's who knows how many Gigalomaniacs, but there's probably like 7 chosen for dealing with Gladiole or whatever. I guess we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, we're in answers territory, so let's not delay. Let's get into it and see how many answers we get this episode. So we are still in the Gigalomaniac chapter. We are still in Shogun explaining to the Takumi delusion what's going on as they're sitting in the middle of Shibuya Scramble. But we are getting some backstory on Rimi. So several days, even months perhaps, had passed since that encounter. And one day, Rimi came to my hospital room. What encounter? You'll have to watch the last episode. Again, I know, it was a bad break. I apologize. She and I were fellow patients at the same hospital. Interesting. Fellow possessors of something that transcended human understanding, the power of Gigalomania, an attribute we were unsure whether to abhor or take great pride in. Big bro, you got a visitor. So, who is she? Is she your girlfriend? When did you get one of those? So Nanami was visiting Takumi in the hospital. Who's the Nanami who was visiting us then? We also need some answers to what happened with that Nanami delusion that got dissipated in the last episode too. I still have a feeling there was a rucksack guy in the neighborhood that somebody messed up. Whether it was Senna or Kazupi or whoever, but we'll find out about that later. Way to go, big bro! I wonder if that memory we had after the failed rescue quest, we had a flashback to Nanami being much younger and trying to feed us curry and we just knocked it on the ground. That was probably this Takumi's flashback, I suspect. We meet again. She was deeply haggard. Her skin was morbidly pale. Her hair was dry and neglected, growing according to its own whims. Her fingernails were cracked. Her eyes constantly squinted, as if dazzled by a brilliant light. Were you able to see the real sky? Oh yes, that little flashback. Yes. Oh, right. Nanami, who had been watching us talking, suddenly clapped her hands in apparent remembrance. I've got to go do the laundry. What was your name? Rimi-san? Well, you two have fun. Okay, I guess this is establishing how they knew each other as well. Nanami left the room. Rimi and I vacantly watched her depart. Rimi then turned back toward me. This is actual me. This is me, Takumi, in the hospital me. How long have you been hospitalized, Takumi? About 5 years. Is there an estimate on when you'll be able to leave? No. I have about 2 more years until I die. Thanks to you, I was able to hang on. I thought it would never end. But even so, I told myself to keep going until I could see the sky you told me about. But then, all of a sudden, I was allowed to leave. Though it's probably more accurate to say I'd served my purpose. I see. You saved my life. So this time, I want to pay you back. I want to be your strength. You don't need to worry about that. You don't have to go out of your way to see me. From now on, I want you to live a normal life. But I don't know how to live a normal life. Now, presuming that was a year and a half ago, that's implying that Takumi's got 6 months to live. Rimi's past. Rimi's feelings, Rimi's resolve. My chest tightened as I remembered them all. Why did Rimi approach me? So we're back to our conversation in Shibuya Scramble. Her being close to you allowed her to watch over your actions, the people who would come in contact with you, as well as prevent you from awakening. Yeah, we need some details on the awakening. Please don't resent her for that. She's just a hopeless meddler, that's all. A tinge of sadness appeared in Shogun's voice. I didn't want to involve her, but no matter how hard I tried to keep her away, she wouldn't listen. Despite everything I said to her, she felt that she was indebted to me. She truly is a hopeless meddler. Who is holding Rimi and Nanami captive? The one in charge of Project Noah. The mastermind behind it all. Norosei Genichi. He is also the one who captured and tortured Rimi in the past. And yet, despite all the suffering he's put her through, Rimi went to confront that man alone. Also, she could save me, Nanami, and you. A voice echoed within my head. It uttered the words of a Rimi I didn't know. Words she had spoken to Shogun. Is this the flashback to that hospital room where we were in before? Oh! The conversation. The phone call. Rimi? Ah! Yeah, it's me. Truth is, I have something to report. I think it's time to go and save Nana-chan now. Do not. I know you don't want to see that man again. Norosei. You don't trust me, do you? I'm telling you, it'll be fine. Besides, that's all in the past. If I have to choose between my feelings or saving Nana-chan, I think it's pretty obvious which one I'm going to pick. Saving Nanami and putting an end to Project Noah is my responsibility. You don't have to go that far. Like I told you, I want to be your strength. But also, I don't want to drag Taku into this. Ever the meddler, aren't you? Maybe. Though, you're the only one who says that about me. Hey, is it okay if I tell you something? It won't take long. I told Taku a lot of awful things. And while I know it's selfish to say this, after everything I've done, all the time I spent together with him, it was all really, really fun. Even though it was all make-believe. Even though it was all steeped in delusions. My school life, Taku and I going to that school, being friends with Daichin. Is she telling us this because we were responsible for that delusion? Like she wanted to live a normal life, so we created one for her? Me trying hard to stay by Taku's side, and even Taku's existence itself. Taku is so helpless, weak, and pathetic. He's the kind of boy a normal girl would never, ever look at, let alone go near. And yet, despite it all, my heart tells me how fun it was. Despite it all, my heart tells me how much I wanted to spend more time with him. What do these feelings mean? It might be something similar to imprinting. Like, it's something instinctual? That would be surprisingly romantic. If that all made you happy, I'm sure it must have made him happy as well. If that's true, that'd be really nice. Because Taku and I, we have a lot in common. A body created through delusions, and a personality created through delusions. They're not so different, are they? I was about to say, I don't think Rimi's body was created through delusions, but I think she's saying her personality was. That's why I couldn't bring myself to erase him. Even though I'd convinced myself that I had to. I guess I grew attached to him at some point. Some of these lines we didn't hear from Rimi's end the first time. Either last episode or the episode before, I can't remember. I just want him to live a normal life. I want to help both Takumi and Taku. Yeah, I don't remember that line. So please, leave Taku out of this. I can't do that. He has to destroy Noah too. I can take care of that. No, you can't. You don't need to do that. You should be the one to live a normal life. Well, I gotta hang up now. Which means I'm not listening. Rimi, don't. It'll be fine, really. You don't have to worry about a thing. I promise. I'll put an end to everything myself. Okay. Takumi? So that's the other end of that conversation. After it was already too late, Rimi's words sank into my heart. She really was a hopeless meddler. Why did she have to keep fighting so hard? Why did she have to keep acting so selflessly? Because I'm on your side, Taku. Memories of Rimi all came back to me. Memories of the short time we'd spent together until now. Memories of the feelings that had been hidden behind every word she'd said. I'll stay by your side. Over the past year and a half, if I had to summarize what I'd done, it'd mostly be ESO, RMT, and Eroge. Accurate. I devoted myself entirely to those things, all while staying shut inside my base. I'd barely gone to school, and I rarely tried to talk to anyone. Born into this world, I'd lived as though I were dead. But for the past month or so, that had changed. There's still some answers that need to come here. Who was the fourth delusion in the alleyway? Why was Remy there at all? And even though as a result of this I'd been lied to,
朝、一緒に学校行って。
we'll go to school in the morning. She had stayed by the side of someone like me.
学校では休み時間にどうでもいいこと話して。
Talk about whatever comes to mind in between classes. She had given me peace of mind when I was quivering in fear.
お昼休みは一緒にご飯食べて。
Eat together at lunchtime. She had supported the failure that I was, encouraged me.
夕方、一緒に帰って。
Then at the end of the day, we'll head back home. She had embraced me,
帰るついでに、たまにどこかのお店
sometimes stopping by a shop or two on the way back. She had taught a delusionary existence like me the warmth that humanity held.
タクの部屋でちょっとだけ。
Then when we do get back, we'll chat for a bit in your room. She could have erased me, and yet she had tried to protect me.
それで、また明日ねって。
And then, when we're all tuckered out, we'll say goodbye with a nice wave and a see you tomorrow. So I guess erasing in this case kind of does mean the same as killing, since Taku wasn't real in the first place. And when she was defending us on the roof, that was more like she had simply changed her mind. She had made memories with me.
そんなのでいいなら、私。
If you're fine with that, I can definitely go the distance. Although I don't think she had much time to change her mind, because I feel like that conversation and that situation they were relatively close together. I don't know. Because that was, yeah. Because it was after the earthquake she had that conversation telling Shogun she wanted to erase me. And it wasn't that long afterward when she, wasn't erasing me. If you're fine with that, I could definitely go the distance. In my 1.5 year long life, I could still vividly remember the time I'd spent with her even now.
そういうの、結構憧れなんだ。
I've always wanted to be that person for someone. Remy's little gestures. Remy's scent wafting from her hair. Remy's little sighs and the sound that came from them. Remy's glimmering eyes. Remy's cheerful voice. Remy's tender warmth. Ah, I see. I was in love with Remy. How disgusting was that? Sorry, Saratan, I've been cheating on you. What a freak. A wry smile crept onto my face in response to my own creepiness. A delusionary existence falling in love? Were feelings of love something that a delusionary existence could feel? Or were they a mere illusion? I really didn't know, but I wanted to be true to those feelings. Remy saw me as a friend. There was no way she saw me as someone of the opposite sex. Besides, an otaku freak like me wouldn't go well together with her. But even so, even if she didn't love me back, even if it was just for my own satisfaction, even if I was just a delusionary existence, I, at least, wanted to do something for someone, for Remy, before I disappeared. It was disgusting that a disgusting otaku freak would fall in love. It was disgusting that a disgusting delusionary existence would fall in love. But so what? Even if it was disgusting, even if it wouldn't go anywhere, I didn't want to brush these feelings away as mere illusions and delusions. The memories of this past month were both Remy's and mine, mutually recognized between us both. Even if the rest was just make-believe, these memories, and the feelings born from them, were real.
世界を救ってほしい。
Yeah, we also need to save the world. We got a long ways to go before we reach the true ending. I know we got an ending coming, and we'll see how that goes. But the happy ending's out there somewhere. We'll find it, guys. We'll find it. It'll take a bit of searching, but it's out there. So Shogun said. I shook my head.
僕は勇者じゃない。
I'm no
人
hero.
間でもない。
I'm not even human.
そんな僕に世界を救えとか。
What are you thinking, asking somebody like me to save the world?
君には本当に悪いと思ってるけど、
I know how terrible it is
君
to
にやっ
ask
ても
this
らう
of
しか
you,
ないんだ。
but there's no other way.
自分に謝るなんて。
Apologizing to your own self? Do you realize how stupid that sounds? I glared at the real me, The real me caught the fake me's gaze.
僕は君が嫌いだ。
I hate you.
僕は君が羨ま
I
し
envy
い。
you.
僕は世界のためにな
I
んか頑
won't do
張ら
it
な
for
い。
the sake of the world.
世界を救うとか。
I
そんな
couldn't
こと
care
どう
less
でも
about
いい。
saving the world. I'd be the one to give meaning to my birth.
ただ、
But
僕はリミを
I will save
助け
Rimi.
る。
And maybe, Nanami while I'm there, just in case I see her.
ありがとう。
Thank you. And everyone's back. The sounds around me started coming back. More and more oil was being poured on the fires of chaos. It had already become a riot. Are we going to go upstairs and get our sword? I was hit with the smell of blood. Around me, I heard the sounds of screams, shouts, moans, and a mechanical noise that sounded almost like audio feedback. That was probably the rucksacks. It all pooled together and overflowed across the crossing.
D ソードを手に入れる方法を教えて。
Tell me how to get a D sword. Yeah, the last time we were here, it wasn't Shogun. But maybe Shogun can give us better advice.
君はすでにそれを知っているはずだよ。
You should already know how. Don't give me this cryptic bullshit. My gaze moved upward, looking for the silhouette of a sword blending into the scenery. Yeah, can we see it from here? I don't think so. Rocks were thrown around, canisters of tear gas made smoke rise from the ground. We might want to get away from that. And people from every direction crash into me time and time again. In the center of it all, I focused and sought the sword I had once seen from the roof of Ofront. It had to be visible already. Without a doubt, it had to be here somewhere. Lost amid the scenery. Yeah, last time you talked like this, we could see it. I don't think I see it from here. Not from this perspective. Maybe I have to look around. My D-sword was always right beside me. Now seize it. I mean, you had grabbed it, no problem. Hey, look, it's right there.
見つけた。
Found it. On the building to the right of 107, there was a vertical billboard, and when I looked toward it, I saw the shape of a sword. Anxiety seeped into me. I swallowed back my saliva. When I had looked from the roof of Ofront, I had been able to perceive its shape. But in the end, I hadn't been able to physically grasp it.
自分の意志を強く持つんだ。
Hold on to your will to find it. You mustn't waver.
君にはもう。
You already are more than capable of obtaining your D-sword. I extended my hand as I stood in place. In order to save someone dear to me, I had to get it, no matter what. This also makes me wonder, I keep wondering if Grimm is someone. Grimm's another person who's been feeding us info and actually led us here, so I'm still wondering if that's a person as well. No matter what, I gritted my teeth. This wouldn't be like last time. My mind was surprisingly calm. I wasn't afraid. I couldn't be afraid. It also makes me wonder how Suwa knew that our sword was up here. Obviously, Shogun would know, because he's us. But Suwa's just like, oh yeah, his sword's, up here. Let's do the thing. But it wasn't that I was keeping a cool head. Emotions simmered and boiled inside me. I had something I needed to do.
掴むんだ。
Grasp it. 107 was about 100 meters away, and upon overlapping my fist with the sword, I grasped it. I mean, Yua grasped hers at a moment of crisis, so you certainly don't need to be calm. Yay! Even though I should have grabbed an empty spot in the air, there was something there. It was neither hot nor cold, neither hard nor soft. It probably has almost no weight. Yeah, you got the simplest sword ever. Keeping my hold on it, I drew it closer to me. Ripples surfaced across the air, and from within those ripples it slid free. I was about to say, did we get a picture of him with it? We do. That is a fairly large sword. It's bigger than it looks. And it sounds heavy. Oh, we got a cool song now. All too long to be called a sword. Delicate enough to shatter at a moment's notice. Pervaded with phantasmal elegance. Lacking any... Okay, that's a big one. Meretricious features. Meretricious? What the hell is meretricious? I'll have to look that up. Lacking any meretricious features, absent of all garishness. With an immaculate malice, capable of swallowing one's soul whole. One which belonged an awe-inspiring beauty. Linking with my exalted heart, the design of the sinister flames on the handle flickered. I didn't feel even an ounce of weight. Rather, it was as if it was an extension of my arm, as though it had been there from the very beginning, as though it were a part of my own body. It didn't feel like I was holding a sword. So this was a D-sword. I grasped it firmly with both hands. I should have been able to real boot it now. If I got it to be mutually recognized by my surroundings, the sword would be brought forth into reality. As for how to do that, I don't know. I simply desired it. I shouted within my heart for it to become reality. All hesitation within me was gone. Okay. The D-sword, as if answering my calls, started faintly shining. The flame pattern on the hilt transformed into real flames. Flames which swiftly enveloped the sword. And yet I felt no heat. Soon enough, those flames were swallowed by the entirety of the sword's body, and... it's got a weird prong on the end. Together with a fierce impact, the D-sword shone with a crimson light. A number of the people around me were surprised by my sword. However, it was only a handful of them. Only a handful were left dumbfounded by its appearance. The others were too focused on punching and kicking each other. The riots didn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. That is a weird sword shape, even by the standard of D-swords. At first I thought it was super simple, but now it's just like, why does it have a fork? You must find the porters causing these riots. If you destroy the devices they hold, the heightened biorhythms should be alleviated. Kill the rucksack guys, got it. Porters. Those who exist as terminals for Noah 2. You yourself should have seen that hint already. It should be carved into your mind as memories. I think the only experience we have of that is fake Nanami. I called forth all that I had seen. We didn't see this. We saw this, but he didn't see it. Flying cross, and now the promised will. We're just seeing the vignettes of the different characters before they joined us. Why are you here? So you finally shown yourself. Now I just gotta grab onto you and never let go. We're getting flashbacks of things we'd never seen. Oh! I was about to say, maybe this is flashbacks because this is the moments when these characters felt the gaze. I don't think that was the case for the other three. Yua... no, this is when she was writing her email to Takumi. This was a different time. Bon felt it when he was at the school. Okay, this is a completely different thing. Faithworks Limited. Ever heard of him? Is he just accessing the morphogenetic field theory? Oh. Yeah, you might not want to see that scene. I remember these guys. Yeah, highest score for the GE rate yet. Blah, blah, blah. Hi, Senna. What kind of magic trick is that? What do all these flashbacks have to do with anything? Like, here's Senna destroying the rucksack in the park, but... is that it? Nope. Dude's just looking through the CGs for the game. He's like, oh, that's what a porter is. Alright. More precisely, one could perhaps refer to them as mind control units. Okay, is that the info we were looking for? All of the things I had unconsciously seen, all of the thoughts I had unconsciously read. How did you unconsciously or consciously see or read any of that? You weren't there. Huh, guess I'm a peeping Tom. How in character. Shogun calmly gave me orders as I laughed at myself. Open your channel and read the porter's minds, like Cosby would. They are somewhere in Scramble Crossing. Search for them. Find them. This feels like a fetch quest at a video game. Go kill, 20 porters. I opened my channel. I didn't have to think about what to do. Without being conscious of it, I enacted it by feel alone. I wonder how Senna's going to feel about all this. And then the minds of everyone here, their negative emotions, became visible and instantly flowed into me. Oh dear. Malice, hatred, envy, lust, servility, cowardice, superficiality, corruption, cunning, indecency, hideousness, vulgarity, libido, madness, bloodthirst. It was the manifestation of the unsightly emotions people hid from one another, more brutal, unequivocal, and repugnant than words could ever be. All the negative emotions people held inside them became a torrent of images, and this torrent proceeded to swallow up, shatter, and violate my mind. I was verbally abused by words of disdain. Gazes of contempt rained down on me. I was spat on. My nails were peeled off. I was punched in the face multiple times. I was kicked in the ass. My hair was torn out. My nose was chewed to shreds. My eyeballs were gouged out. My tongue was ripped from my mouth. My blood was sucked. I was showered with boiling water and covered with burns. I was raped in the ass. Okay, unnecessary. My genitals were crushed, also. All of my skin was torn off. Okay, settle down. My arms were broken. All of my bones were broken. I was beaten with a blunt weapon. I was stabbed with a blade. My organs were gouged out. My neck was strangled. My flesh was eaten out by a giant beast. Where'd that come from? I was thrown off a high place. I drowned in a pool of water. I had my entire body burned by flames. Having synchronized with it all, my mind was being broken. I felt like I was about to go insane. I gritted my teeth and desperately held on to my consciousness. Was this how Kazubi had lived her whole life? No wonder she's crazy.
コントロールするんだ。
Control the delusions you want to see.
すべてを受信しちゃダメだ。
Don't receive them all. Ring out the target.
音を頼りにする。
Use the sound to your advantage. The sound, the buzzing? All while enduring the negative emotions overwhelming me, I listened carefully. What came to me were voices from all around. Isolating them, I searched for the sound. I heard a mechanical sound, the one Saratan had said would kill me. The sound had also been inside the memories I'd gotten from reading minds. Senna had destroyed a porter's rucksack that had emitted the sound with her D-sword. Yeah, I wonder if this is how she tracked them down. So if I were to focus on that sound, the delusion I heard... the cultists. May the divine light save us, may the divine light save us. There were multiple voices. There was more than one porter here.
3人いるみたい。
It looks like there are 3 of them. Holding my breath, I took a step forward. In front of me was the chaotic crowd. Without a trace of order, they moved through the scramble crossing as they pleased, beating each other within an inch of their lives. It would be difficult to go straight through. I wonder how this is actually factoring into certain... Like, why is there a festival? Why did they part ways? Like, didn't they move out of the way for Shogun or me or something? It seemed like they were here for Takumi, so what's the plan here? It can't just be a chaos thing. I hacked the delusions of the people in the direction of the target. And so little by little, the people in my field of view made way. And there a path was made for me. There was a single man about 50 meters from me, and all of the obstacles between me and him had now been removed. Our eyes met. He was a plump man in a suit wearing a rucksack on his back.
1人目。
There's the first. Taking the shortest path there, I ran straight ahead, through the crowd, without bumping into anyone, all while dragging my D-sword along with me. How? The porter, having noticed me, frantically turned around and tried to run, but I wouldn't allow it. Just like Senna, I swung my D-sword, a blade longer than I was tall. As always, it felt weightless. I could wield it like it was an extension of my arm. That's one. The tip of the D-sword dug into the rucksack, and then, almost as if it had been melted at an unfathomably high temperature, its contents were vaporized. The man sank to the ground, cradling his head as he trembled from fear. Without looking at him even one more time, I headed for the second one. Below O-Front. Once again, the obstacles leading up to it began to disappear and a path was built. The man who stood there was extremely thin, wore a checkerboard shirt and a pair of jeans. He had long hair and his skin was alarmingly pale. He seemed to be holding a bag, which he was treating with great care. Noticing me, he tried to blend into the crowd, but before he could do anything, I threw my D-sword. Just like Ayase did. Fly. I formed a delusion. Ignoring all known laws of physics, it flew parallel to the ground, soaring faster and faster. It delicately corrected its path, then pierced the man's bag with unmatched accuracy. It emitted a faint light, and the man fell to the ground. Just one more. We are straight up a battle manga type anime now. I approached the man, now on the ground, and retrieved my D-sword. The third one was in front of Hachiko. I had seen that porter countless times by now. Actually, let me be more precise. I had talked to them almost every day. Oh? The crowd dissipated, and for the third time a direct path appeared. Don't tell me it's Mizumi. Oh! Damn! And at the end of it was a woman wearing white scrubs, a fact that made her conspicuous as could be. We didn't talk to her every day.
あなたが3人目です。
You're the last
葉
one.
月さん。
We didn't talk to her every day.
グリム。
Oh, shit! Did I speculate that? Did I say... I could not have been honest when I speculated it. I didn't really believe it, but I won... No, wait, I did speculate that because she drew the fucking picture. I had to... I'm pretty sure that was something I thought of. What if Hazuki was Grim? What if Hazuki was Grim because of that damn scribble? That was the only reason I came... Well, okay. Answered the question from earlier in the episode. And yeah, you know what? I guess you did talk to them every day, didn't you? How about that? Well, then. Yeah, that's, we are getting all the answers, aren't we? Well then, Grim, I'm sorry. You're out of the guild. Fuck you. Hey, you. How's it going? Get sliced. The nurse who had smiled so gently to me at the hospital was now glaring daggers at me. She held a large handbag with her. Most likely there was a Noah 2 terminal inside.
真実を暴くんだ。
Reveal the
彼女が
truth.
してきたことをこの場にいる人た
If
ちに
you
提
show all
示
these
すれば
people what she did,
この熱病のような混乱は収まる。
this fever-like chaos will subside. What she did? Uh-oh.
彼女が
What did you do?
これまでの不自然
If
な
she is
言動に
Grim, you should have noticed the unnatural actions she's taken before now. I was commenting on that earlier. Like I said, I feel like Grim is someone because he's been very convenient in the flow of information to us
僕が最初に君に接触
in
した時
numerous
のこと
ways. Think back to the first time I made contact with you.
僕は君に
Oh, I remember.
貼り付け
I
事件
showed you a
を予言し
prediction
た
of the crucifixion case.
君への警鐘だっ
It
た。
was meant to be a wake-up call for you.
でも僕よりも先に
But there was someone else.
貼り付けを予言した人間がいる
Someone who predicted the crucifixion before me. Did she? I don't remember that conversation. I remembered the exchange we'd had at the time. Remind me! A few moments before Shogun talked to me for the first time, Grim had left the chat room. Oh, okay, the picture. I couldn't remember quite the timeline on that, but right before that, they'd posted an image as a joke, a drawing. The very same drawing that Hazuki-san had scribbled on the medical chart. Yep. The drawing had been very poorly done, but what mattered was what it was depicting. The crucifixion case. Are you the culprit? Were you the fourth delusion? Are you the one who's responsible for the crucifixion case? Okay, that is not a guess I would have made at all. Besides, the first time Grim had talked to me about the New Gen case, they had said this. It's all up in your neighborhood, lol. Even though I had never told them that I lived in Shibuya. Oh, also a good point. Well, then how did she know that we were Neidhart? Even a few hours earlier, Grim had left some comments that had made it seem like they knew I was Nishiju Takumi. You're a celebrity, so you'll be the center of attention. Oh, a few hours before this. Again, like I said before, they directed us here. That's right. They would have had no way of knowing that we were Takumi. They just know, Grim just knows us as Neidhart. So why would they assume that we'd be the center of attention? That flew right over my head. I didn't even notice that. That didn't even register. The second time I'd gone to the hospital, Hazuki-san had said, what else we got?
高階先生は
I'm afraid Dr. Takashina is no longer here. Are you the straight-up new-gen culprit of all of them? And a week later, Dr. Takashina's corpse had been found. I swallowed back my
あの
saliva.
人が
Is she?
真犯人。
She's the real killer? Yeah, she wasn't even on my list of suspects. She was sus as hell, but I didn't think she'd be the murderer. Her mind was right before me. If I looked inward, I could see.
信仰の救いあれ。
May the divine light save us. Midnight fell on A.H. Tokyo General Hospital, the place of Hazuki Shino's work. Within one of its operating rooms, the nurse stood nearly still. On the bed lay a young man, Kanoe Shizo. The sleeping pills he had been given had induced a deep coma in him. This is one of the culprits, isn't it? I forget who. Is it the last one? Who was the last one? It's not finger food. No, the last culprit was the three bodies, wasn't it? Who was Kanoe Chizo? I know we've seen that name before, and I remember the first time we heard it. I wondered for a moment if it was Orihara's dad or something, but the last name is just slightly different.
信仰の救いあれ。
May the divine light save us. As she repeated the same words over and over like a Buddhist prayer, Hazuki caressed her large... Oh, fuck off. Oh, you... What? Really? So, wait a minute. So, was this the man-child incident? And was it Hazuki's baby? That is... Well, I mean, it was dark to begin with, but bloody hell. I wouldn't have guessed that the baby's mother was the culprit. That is some fucked up shit. The people who write this game need to see a therapist. She slowly removed her white scrubs, then sat atop the operating table, scalpel in hand. I don't want to read anything that's about to happen over the next 3 minutes, but I'm going to. Forgive me, YouTube. Never... Oh, jeez. No, settle down. Settle down. Settle down. Calm down.
救いあれ。
Salvation, yeah. No anesthesia to speak of, she incised her own abdomen. An incision so masterfully done, it would have earned her incredible praise from surgeons and obstetricians alike. Although she was a mere nurse, her surgical skills were quite remarkable, even while enduring the uninhibited pain of her self-surgery. You cray girl! The incision she made in her abdomen was performed with the utmost dexterity. Don't give me a drip sound effect. Someone had to record that and include that in the game on purpose, and whoever that is, I hate you. Blood and amniotic fluid flowed from the wound, her face contorted in pain. Then, after a few grueling moments passed, Hazuki inserted her own hand inside her abdomen. This has to be the man-child incident, and from within it she removed a blood-stained fetus. The fetus had yet to reach full maturity, and its forced removal had already ended its life prematurely. Hazuki performed an omphallotomy, cutting the umbilical cord. Upon completion of this, she embraced her child lovingly, then placed it on the stand next to the operating table. With her hands now free, she began suturing her own wound. The whole ordeal took nearly an hour to complete. With the sheer amount of pain the procedure procured, any normal person would have fainted long ago. Returning the fetus to her embrace, she stood up from the operating table and approached the man lying down on the bed. You are about to have a bad day, sir. With bloodshot eyes, she looked down toward the unconscious man's face and thrust the scalpel into his abdomen. The movement was reckless and without care, providing a vast contrast to how delicately and accurately she had torn open her own abdomen before. The pain roused the man. No shit. But before he could consider any hope of escape, he realized both his arms and legs were tied securely to the bed. Disregarding the man's screams, Hazuki drew back the scalpel she had used to stab him. It cut through his flesh, tore through his skin. Blood gushed forth, covering her face in crimson.
信仰の救いをあなたに。
Boy, you and Mikon would just get along great. May the divine light save you, sir. Nothing's going to save this man. She neared her hands to the victim's wound. And then she forcefully began to widen it horizontally. The sound of flesh being torn open echoed throughout the operating room. What are you guys having for dinner tonight, by the way? Got any plans for supper? I wonder what you're thinking about eating right now. The man's body started violently convulsing as the pain forced him to undergo a cycle of fainting, then waking up again. As she gazed at the gaping wound, Hazuki smiled a gentle smile. She then took her own child, which she had just taken from herself, and forcibly pushed it inside the man's gaping wound. Why are you doing this, by the way? Why must all these murders be the most freakish things imaginable? That sound effect is not necessary. I did not need spontaneous ASMR during this ordeal. May the divine light save us all. Well, it better, because nothing else is gonna. By the way, Takumi, aren't you glad you got to witness this? Aren't you just so happy you can jump into people's minds and check this out? Midnight fell on A.H. Tokyo General Hospital, the place of Hazuki Shino's work. Wait a minute, we've read this before. Are we on another incident? What the hell do you do to... Is this going to be scooping out someone's brains? Who was the fourth incident? It was the loss of blood. Yeah, the vamp buyer. Within one of its operating rooms, the nurse stood nearly still. On her bed lay her psychiatrist colleague, Takashina Fumio. Okay, so this is number 5. He was tied to the bed, but this was not the only thing that had been done to him. His cranium had been opened and his brain was exposed. His skull had been cut cleanly, the line being right above the eyes. May the divine light save you, Dr. Takashida. Stop this! Whatever you're doing, stop! This'll teach you not to take my demand for a raise seriously. Takashida was conscious. Due to the effects of the anesthesia, he did not feel any pain from the cut. The utter dread he felt kept his eyes open wide, and his body was sweating greatly. Salvation. I do not want to hear what sort of psalms are written in whatever the hell Bible this church uses, because holy hell. Ignoring Takashina's pleas for his life, Hazuki retrieved a shiny silver utensil from the pocket of her white scrubs. A utensil that could not be referred to as a traditional surgical tool. It's just a wooden spoon. Yeah, it was a spoon. 2 scoops, an all too ordinary piece of tableware. What are you planning to do with that? You don't want to know, sir. Stop! Hazuki reveled in ecstasy, as if enjoying a meal of curry and rice. That's what you did with the brain? She took a spoonful of Takashina's brain? We all Temple of Doom up in here? She then took the spoon and violently cast the contents into a stainless steel tray. Okay, never mind. The pink brain tissue was pulped into a jelly-esque substance. There goes your childhood piano lessons. Hazuki thrusted the spoon inside the brain once again. This time, however, she accumulated even more matter than she had the first time she scraped away the brain tissue. Why the sound effects? Who is punching a cabbage and recording it and then putting it in this game? Takashina's own brain was getting removed from his body, yet he felt no pain, nor did he lose consciousness. As well as this, the anesthesia had robbed him of any freedom of movement whatsoever. All the man could do was tremble in fear. And are we back in the room? Those were your memories, weren't they? Well, okay, so confirmed Incident 2 murderer, confirmed Incident 5 murderer, confirmed Incident 3 knowledge, if not murderer? I thought we had a suspect in custody. I wonder what's up with that. But can we please confirm that she was the 4th delusion? Because I'm guessing that's the case. You absolute sicko. Hazuki Shino looked up at the projection in shock. So are we putting it up on the TV screen? On the Scramble Crossings 4 massive jumbotrons. Her very own memories were being shown. She couldn't even understand how it was being done. Perhaps it was Nishijou Takami's power as a gigalomaniac. Clearly it was. I'm not sure broadcasting this horror show was the wisest move, but, you know, I feel like you're not getting out of here alive. I'm just going to throw that out there.
あなたの記憶です。
There's a violent crowd here who might be interested in the fact that you did these things. Your memories. With his head hung low and a D-sword in hand, Nishijou Takami murmured those words. The riot came to a halt. Silence was now the ruling entity. Also, I can hear a lot of people vomiting in unison. The thousands of people who had been assailing each other up until a moment ago were now looking up toward the screens. And wishing they weren't. Some were pale, some averted their eyes, some felt such horror it compelled them to vomit. Yeah, no kidding. Just like Psy'Min Sezz, the mass media were starting to record Hazuki with their cameras. Countless blinding flashes ensued. Guess who the new most famous person in Shibuya is?
あなたが
It was you.
の真犯人だったんだ。
You were the culprit behind New Gen. All of them? I still need a few more explanations for the other ones, but, damn.
私の記憶を映像に投影
You
したんです。
projected my memories as image data.
もう言い逃れはできませんよ。
There's nowhere to run.
胎児とあなたの
A
DNA
DNA
を鑑定
test on
すれば
both you
わかる
and the
ことです。
fetus will reveal everything. Yep, it will.
どうしてあんなことを。
Why did you do it? Tell me, Grim. I thought we were guildmates. I helped you grind legendaries. We raided together. Why?
ナイトハルト。
Yeah, Nightheart. You betcha. The greatest of base lord.
教祖様のお言葉なんですよ。
Because the glorious founder ordered it so. Who is the glorious founder? Hazuki plunged her hand into the bag resting over her shoulder. From it, she retrieved both a Noah 2 terminal port and a scalpel. I wondered if she was about to grab something to commit suicide with. She gripped the scalpel and placed it right against her throat. Due to the nature of her position as a nurse, she knew the location of the carotid artery all too well. Yep. Hazuki smiled at Nishijou Takami. It was a kind smile, much like the one she would so oft show her patients.
信仰の救い
May the divine light save us! You can't have my stuff! As her own blood gushed forth from her neck, her entire body was painted a bright crimson. What about the Noah 2 thing? He's a real Esper.
救世主。
He's the Messiah. Oh, everyone's changed their opinion on me real quick. I didn't know who, but someone had mumbled those words. After seeing the sheer number of gazes piercing through me, I realized that those words were also directed at me. In front of a countless number of people, Hazuki Shino had committed suicide via slitting her throat. Although calling it a martyrdom might have been more accurate, the choking smell of blood filled the air. I told you weren't getting out of this alive, and you knew it. The riot had now stopped entirely. Hazuki Shino's memories of the crimes she committed, which I had projected directly onto the Jumbotrons, ended up being the perfect thing to make the excited parts of the mob quiet down. Yeah, I'll bet that was distracting, wasn't it? The shocking nature of what had been displayed left everyone at a loss for words. Even now, Hazuki Shino's corpse was still bleeding. A number of people then walked up to it and began kicking it. Good Lord, it was the corpse of an atrocious murderer, so there was no respects to be paid here. Can we confirm that she was responsible for the other ones? Because we do have that, you know, some of that could have been things that were fed, too, because even the video that we saw of the group dive, where the camera was low and you could hear the wheelchair squeaking, that was sent to us by Grim, a.k.a. Hazuki. So that could have been fabricated. I don't know about the finger food. I'm not too sure how she found the 3 guys that beat us up, either. What was the 4th one again? Oh, yeah, the desiccated corpse in the bathroom. I mean, she could have done that, too. Next, they might even publicly behead her like it was the Middle Ages. What difference was there between her and the ones kicking her corpse? By their very nature, humans were disgusting, horrible creatures, myself included. The media, like hyenas, were accumulating around anything they could act as a scoop. Oh, phrasing! Roughly half of them had gathered around Hazuki Shino's corpse, and the other half were surrounding me. Nishijo-kun, talk about a sight to behold! Oh, you vultures! Was that some kind of psychic power just now? So you really were an Esper, that's incredible! Yeah, that Uri Geller motherfucker, he's like watching the TV going, oh shit. Was today's gathering simply bait to lure out the true culprit from the get-go? How old were you when your psychic abilities first manifested? What was your nickname as a child? Have you ever been referred to as a prodigy or anything along those lines? Do you plan to assist the police with their investigation? I think the investigation's done, guys. Would you be willing to appear on one of our shows? One after the other, endless words of praise were thrown my way. Well done, Nishijo! Ah, Takumi-kun, look over here! You're incredible! I love you, please go out with me! One after the other, endless words of affection were thrown my way. We have to save a Remy. I felt hollow hearing those voices. A fabricated image formed by public opinion and a delusionary being. They weren't all too different, were they? Takumi! 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 There it is. It was all coming back. The energy they'd all shown when they'd seen me up on top of Wolfront. Yeah, that. Shut the fuck up! Unable to take it anymore, I screamed. So now you're doing a complete 180 and calling me a hero? Are you fucking kidding? Tears started flowing. I felt completely miserable. I felt completely ridiculous. I didn't have it in me to keep going without crying. I wasn't a hero. I'm an otaku freak! I spent entire days fapping over Saratan's sexy figures like a goddamn pervert. You want to see my memories? I'll put those up on the screen. I'm not 18, but I play a shit ton of eroge. I mow over sprites and CGs constantly. And in my head, all I ever think about are sexy delusions. I see a woman walking down the street, I imagine the whore naked. That's who I really am. I'm not sure you should be shouting this into a TV camera, but I mean, hey, you do you. Tears and mucus smeared down my face. I forgot I was being broadcast live across the entire country. Yeah, Psy'Min reminded you a bit too late, huh? It didn't even occur to me that I was shaming myself yet again. I couldn't help it. I was physically incapable of reading the room. So? Still want to call me a hero? Because I'm not. I'm just a lazy-ass, delusionary otaku freak. A useless loser who can't do anything on his own. We still need to save Remy. Let's not forget this. The voices around me went quiet. The onlookers sank into silence. The people from the media looked at me dubiously. Within the heart of Shibuya, in the middle of the humongous scramble crossing, only my voice was echoing. That's who I am! I won't let other people like you decide who I am! I decide what I really am! I'm not your toy! I'm not some circus freak! You're a bit of a circus freak. I have shit to do! I'm not here to do whatever you want me to do! Remy's smile appeared in my mind. I'm just here for the sake of those I cared about. I was here to fight, then disappear. But before I could voice that, I suddenly noticed, that the night sky reflected in the corner of my eye was turning pure white. This is about to go badly. It wasn't a cloud, nor was it snow falling a little too early in the year. By the time I realized it was the same phenomenon from back when the earthquake had hit, it was already too late. The third melt? But it's too early. Nope, it's third melt time, baby. The first thing I felt was the very earth itself beginning to rumble. The ground began to shake, the white in the sky was spreading farther and farther. The very next moment I was struck with a violent ringing in my ears. It was such an intensely shrill, resonant sound, my head felt like it was about to burst open. Everyone else around me was covering their ears too. And then And then it's been an hour, and it's the end of the episode. But you know what? I want you to be happy with what you saw today, because we saw a lot. Maybe not all of it was the most enjoyable thing in the world, but boy, we got some answers. Not the culprit I was expecting, but I'm just going to let O-Front shake like a motherfucker for a few days until the next episode comes out. What's going to happen next? I don't know. We're going to have to survive this. We're going to have to survive whatever the hell comes next, because this is the last part of their plan, and then we're going to have to go figure out what the hell's going on with Remy. But, yeah, we're getting close to something. This may even be the end. The next episode may even be the end of the chapter and of the current play as we reach a proper ending. It's not going to be a very satisfactory ending, but again, we're going to have to play a ways for that. We have a ending coming up, then we have to do a bunch of character endings, and then we're going to get the good ending. So maybe Hazuki doesn't end up slitting her own throat. Maybe we get to save her, I don't know. But yeah, come back next time to find out what happens to this place in particular. I have a feeling less of it will be standing than it is now. We will find out then. Take care. Thank you for sticking with the series as long as you have, and I hope you've been enjoying yourself. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed this episode. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy the next one. I think you will too, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.